Hi everybody and welcome back to It's Only Food with Chef John Politte. Today we are going to be making stuffed cabbage enchiladas. Cue the music. Well, thanks so much for watching. If this is your first time watching It's Only Food with Chef John Politte, do yourself a favor and click that little subscribe button there in the corner and then hit the notification bell to be notified each and every time I upload new content. Alright, like I said, we're going to be making stuffed cabbage enchiladas today. So let's go check out what our ingredients are here. First of all, we're going to start out with about a pound of ground beef, one whole cabbage head, a can of refried beans, 1 can of jalapeno peppers, about 2 tablespoons of my Chef John Politte's chili seasoning, some cheddar cheese, some queso fresco, and some enchilada sauce. Now I will leave all the definitive ingredients down in the description box for you for your recipe. So let's go into the kitchen here and get our prep going before we start cooking. We've got our ground beef browning off. I want to fully cook this. And meanwhile, let me take this off the old tripod here. And meanwhile, I have our cabbage in here. What I did is as you can see here, I cored it and then I put it into the liquid here. Remember to put your cabbage in and then fill it up with liquid, because if you do it the other way, you might overfill the water, and when you put the cabbage in, the water will go all over the place. This is actually some braising liquid that I had left over from our braising leek show that I did earlier today. That's not actually up on YouTube yet. That is actually not up on YouTube yet. But we did talk about saving and reserving and not discarding your braising liquid when you do something like braised leeks. And I found the perfect application for it right here for our cabbage. You can use it in soups or stocks, but I figure why not use it to boil off our cabbage to get our nice tender cabbage leaves to roll up our beef, which we're doing right here for the cabbage rolls. I'm going to go ahead and add our can of chilies in there and let them just cook along with the ground beef. Stir those in. I'm going to wait till our ground beef is fully cooked before we add our refried beans. Whoop, there's some for the dog there. Just let that continue to cook. Alright, this is almost ready to go. The ground beef's pretty much well cooked. I'm going to add our refried beans into this. As well as about 2 tablespoons of this chili seasoning and dry smoke rub. This is available in my Etsy shop. I will leave a card right about here. You can look at that Etsy shop and see I've got some other groovy seasonings on there as well. But since that's kind of tough to stir right now, since it's like peanut butter. But if we cover it up and let it cook, it'll be a heck of a lot easier to do. And I'm going to grab a different spoon because this one had ground beef on it that was raw. Alright, I'm stirring it up. Get that refried beans, all the seasoning mixed in well with that ground beef. This is going to be our filling. Did change out the spoon. Now I'm going to set this on here. I'm going to turn the heat down to simmer. Actually, it's cooked all the way. I'm going to turn it off because we are going to actually have to be able to handle this, and I don't want it too hot. As we can see here, let me take this off again. Our cabbage is getting there. The cabbage leaves are starting to pop up and off of that cabbage. I am going to head over here, crumble up our cheeses, get them ready to go into a rolling station so we have an assembly line from the meat to the cabbage rolls to the cheese to the cabbage casserole dish. So let me get this cabbage out and we will start doing that. This has gotten like swollen because the leaves are starting to come off the inside of there. They are ready to go. You can do this 2 ways. You can pull it out with a tong which is kind of messy and you might hurt yourself or burn yourself, I'm just going to dump it into a strainer. So I'm going to set the camera down while I do that, and we'll transition into the next shot. And there we go. The cabbage is very cooked. Those leaves will come right off. I'm going to let this cool off, of course, so we can work with it. Meanwhile, I've got our station getting worked up here. Got the cheese separated, got our casserole dish. I'm going to wipe that all down. Meat's ready to go. I'm going to taste it again, make sure it's good to go. We'll set this up and we'll start rolling it. Alright, as you can see, I got my station all set up here. Got the beef we're going to put into the cabbage. We're going to add a little bit of cheese to that, roll them up. Then I'm going to put them into the casserole dish here. And then we'll cover them with sauce and some additional cheese. I'm going to set this back on the tripod and get a rolling shot so y'all can see that before we get too crazy with doing all of them. Alright, I got a nice leaf here. I got it spread out so I can put stuff in there. Now I'm just going to take some of the meat. Now I did taste this, it tastes really good. A little bit of the cheese in there. And I just want to tuck and roll. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the best you can do is awesome. So there's your cabbage roll right there. And I'm going to put it right into our casserole dish. And we'll start filling that casserole dish up. I will show you what that looks like before we add the sauce. There we go. I've got 10 that I rolled up. They are filled with the cojita cheese. I'm sorry, the queso fresco, cheddar cheese, and the meat mixture we made with the refried beans, the enchiladas, and the ground beef with my chili seasoning in there. And I'm just going to cover them with the enchilada sauce now. And you want to just kind of cover them completely. You don't want to drown them. And this is actually about half of the can, so I'm going to save that reserve in there because I don't want to drown these in there. I've got the cojita. Let me set this on a tripod. It's going to be a lot easier. There we go. Now I've got the cheese left over here that I got, but I just want to put the cheddar on first. And I'm going to add some more cheddar here too. I want to make sure that sauce goes in there too. Cover it up with cheese really well before I add the cojita. I keep saying cojita. Before I add the queso fresco, because that'll melt on top and look very nice on top of the contrast with that yellow cheese. And that's all there is to it. I'm going to put the lid on this. I'm going to put it into our oven at 350 for about 45 minutes to bake that up real nice. And then we'll come back. I'm going to take some pictures of it. We're going to put those pictures into social media and into the timeline with some groovy music so you can enjoy both the music and these pictures. So enjoy it. Well, these turned out really nice. They plated up well. I kind of cut one open to get a nice shot of the insides there, that taco meat with the refried beans and everything in there. It smells fantastic. So let's set up the tripod over there and get our tasting shot. Alright, well here we go. Let me step back a little bit. There is the cabbage roll enchiladas. They turned out pretty well. They smell good. They're easy to cut. There's a shot of it right there. Oozing with cheese and refried beans and ground beef. I just put a little parsley on top. That cheddar cheese and that queso fresco. Let's see what it tastes like. Right away I'm getting a bite from the jalapeno and the smoothness of that cheddar cheese. Well, that's really good. That's really, really good. A very unique flavor. Tastes like an enchilada, but you don't have that. Believe it or not, there's no tortilla-y, corn tortilla kind of thing. You can't really taste that like you normally do. But very good, as you can tell. All right, great idea for a low carb meal. I'm gonna go ahead and set this down. Thanks a lot for watching today. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to enjoy our show. Please go down to the description box to see our recipe for this and some other groovy links that I've got. You'll find the chili seasoning that I sell on there on an Etsy site as well. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure you leave a comment below, tell us how we're doing. Like this channel and then share it with everyone you know. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.